Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Jenna.
Welcome to our last Good Evening KU Tuesday edition of this semester. It's been 2 weeks now since our elections, and guess who still hasn't conceded the election? That's right, our president.
Yeah, Donald Trump. I think that's pretty interesting. I was in the midst of Twitter world this weekend, and I saw that some wrestler kind of mentioned, he's from Nebraska, that somebody casted a ballot under his name, and he didn't vote this year. So that was kind of frustrating. I think stuff like that was giving Donald Trump a leverage to be like, look, these votes aren't accurate. I'm still president. We want to count them all. It's making things a little complicated.
Yeah, it also is making things complicated too when there's a lot of, people coming out and saying things that aren't exactly true right now. I mean, a lot of President Trump's tweets have it's created the meme on Twitter with the sign of this statement isn't
right,
partially accurate, or parts of the statement are accurate. And I think that's causing a lot of problems right now too.
For sure.
But moving on to KU basketball, you know how they're going to have restrictions to the amount of people that they're allowing into the stadium out in Fieldhouse. So to combat that, the Kansas Athletic Department is allowing fans to purchase cardboard cutouts of themselves or of other figures to fill the stadium for just $60, which is honestly a pretty good price for, getting to memeify, I guess, the Allen Fieldhouse.
I think that's pretty interesting, honestly, because it's kind of hard for people this year not being able to be at the games. KU basketball is a big thing for everyone, so kind of adding that into the games this year will be pretty awesome for them.
Can't wait to see the all the prison Mitches and the Udoka Azubukis filling up Allen Fieldhouse.
Right.
We're about a week away from Thanksgiving, probably my favorite holiday. What's your favorite thing to eat on your Thanksgiving Day feast?
For me personally, it's hard. There's a lot of good meals like, the turkey, ham, but I'm like a cornbread and dressing kind of gal. I just like my cornbread for sure. I think that just puts it all together. But what about you?
My dad likes to cook a brisket, smoke a brisket.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It's always amazing, but I'm a sweet potato guy through and through. There's something about those marshmallows and that brown sugar and those yams that just come together and make something that's spectacular.
Tasty. I agree.
Coming up after the break, Adrian Campa will be interviewing Michell Tinoco, who's a senior here at KU. Michelle is an atmospheric science major and is planning on graduating this spring. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Hello and welcome back. I'm Adrian Campa here, interviewing our special guest, Michell Tinoco, who is a graduating senior for this upcoming May, if I can speak. She's majoring in atmospheric science. So Michelle, tell me, are you excited about graduation?
Yes and no. With COVID, everything is really up in the air, so I'm just a little nervous on what's to come after graduation since there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think you know that for a fact, that everything is just whack right now. So it's just a matter of knowing who will hire me or accept me to their grad programs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know as a senior also, I'm also terrified of what's to come next year. But what are your plans when you do graduate?
Well, I still need to narrow it down between two options, either getting a full-time position with my current internship or going into graduate school. But I think on the long-term sense, going into grad school would be a lot more beneficial for me.
For you, grad school seems like a little bit too much for me. It's stressful, a lot of math and science. I'll pass on that. But so for your last 4 years, you've done some pretty interesting things. So could you tell me a little bit about it?
Well, I think the most interesting experience I've had in the past 4 years was earlier this August. It was during syllabus week, and we were all just chilling in our computer lab in our department. And I think it was you who mentioned it. You were like, hey, should we go hurricane chasing a hurricane that's going to come into Texas? And I think we all agreed, thinking it was all a joke. And then we called our parents, and they gave us permission to go and put ourselves at life risk. And so next thing you know, we're in Texas. We're riding out this hurricane. It was pretty bad. you were pretty scared when that tree fell down and you woke us up in the middle of the night. You're like, oh my God, the tree came down. We're going to die. But
that's when things were getting serious.
Yeah.
It was a Category 4 hurricane, almost a 5, so it was a pretty big time storm. Devastated southwest Louisiana. And yeah, we were down there, so
I think the most
during
dangerous
syllabus week.
I think the most dangerous part of that trip was definitely when we were next to that chemical plant and we didn't know what was going on, but we were right in like the fumes. And we didn't come to find out until like a day later that they were toxic fumes and we could have potentially died had we been there for like a minute extra.
Yeah, I remember we got emergency alerts to our phone that we needed to shelter in place, and we thought it was just because of the hurricane, but we didn't realize it was because there was a chemical plant fire that was putting out all these toxic fumes that we were just standing outside breathing in. I mean, we did have masks on because of COVID, but it definitely made the whole hurricane chasing experience one to remember.
Yeah, I think it'll be a trip that we will remember for the rest of our lives. And hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah.
If time permits.
If time permits.
Yeah.
But we also did some chasing back in June. That was
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yes, we were supposed to just stay in central and both central Nebraska and Kansas, and somehow, some way, we ended up close to the border of Iowa and Missouri, which we weren't planning on doing so, but we just ended up in Missouri and Iowa, and we were like, what is going on right now?
It was really fun. So
Yeah.
what all did we see that day?
We saw a couple of shelf clouds. We did see that funnel. We were in that tornado warning storm, but unfortunately, there was too much rain going on and we couldn't really see it. But we did see the funnels very slightly because we were on the rain end of it.
Yeah.
But it was really fun.
Yeah, we've seen done a lot of chasing this year, and that's one thing I'm definitely gonna remember and cherish after we graduate.
And hopefully we can do more in the spring.
Yeah,
Yes.
This upcoming spring, you'll want to stay tuned because we plan on getting out there as much as we can before graduating and being responsible adults.
Yeah, so if you see two like atmospheric science, 3 atmospheric science majors from KU getting caught up in like a tornado,
hurricane,
it was
anything.
us.
Most likely. No, but well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about, what it's like being a meteorologist, what your plans are after graduation, because I know with COVID it is pretty scary, so it's much appreciated. And stick around, we'll have more coming up after the break. We're going to have sports with Ciro and Reese coming up.
Your final Good Evening KU Tuesday Sports Report. I'm Reese, I'm joined by my partner Ciro here, and we're going to give you a recap of the NFL games. First, let's start in Detroit, where Alex Smith and the Washington football team took on the Detroit Lions. In a game they were down 24-3, nearly came back and won, but the story of the game continues to be Alex Smith coming back from that horrific leg injury.
That's crazy. That man lost almost 70% of his leg over a year ago. The leg had gone septic, they said her, and he pretty much almost died from that.
Exactly.
And he could have had his leg amputated, and now he is setting career highs.
A tremendous story. But no, the Lions Matt Patricia almost did what he does and blew a 24-3 lead. But luckily, Matt Prater saved the day with a 59-yard field goal off of Chase Young, roughing the passer. So, Matt Prater, you are Lion Nation's favorite person in the world right now.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that that one mistake, obviously a rookie mistake, but cost him the game. Now, next game going up to the NFC North is the Aaron Rodgers going down. I think, was it in Jacksonville or was it?
It was in Lambeau.
It was in Lambeau. That's what I thought. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers went for 24 for 34 and 2 touchdowns to rout himself for a victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were led by Jake Luton, who was surprisingly kind of inefficient, but he was a 6th-round pick. But the real connection was Marquez Valdez-Scantling having 4 receptions for 149 yards and 1 touchdown.
That Jaguars 6th-round rookie connection quarterback pick just somehow keeps finding a way to work. Gardner Minshew, now Jake Luton, both probably aren't franchise quarterbacks, but they continue to show off and do great things. But maybe the story for the Jaguars, James Robinson is having a phenomenal year as an undrafted free agent.
Great
the
athlete.
most yards from scrimmage in NFL history for an undrafted free agent, and we're only through 9 games right now. He's putting up an incredible season, and he could earn himself a Pro Bowl appearance realistically and probably win the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But no, the Bills and Cardinals though, what a game!
Wow.
Kyler
Yeah.
Murray might just be your MVP.
Maybe, because he's playing better than Lamar was last year.
Exactly. More rushing yards, more passing yards. I mean, Kyler Murray is on pace right now to throw for over 4,000 yards and rush for over 1,000 yards. Would be the first quarterback to ever do that.
Insane. So if they don't give it to him, that's highway robbery right there.
Why did Bill O'Brien trade away DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, the catch. There's one receiver in football that makes that catch, and it's DeAndre Hopkins himself. What was Bill O'Brien thinking?
I have no idea. No idea. Same thing probably as, like, you think they would try to get something better. It's just David Johnson, who hasn't even played. No.
Maybe
That's
a first-round pick. I mean, you gave up the best receiver in football. He'll go down as one of the top 10 receivers in NFL history, and he proved that today.
Top 5.
Yeah, you're probably right. He wanted that ball more than anything.
Oh, yeah. Now, if we go over the Ravens-Patriots, you're making a joke that they turn on the sprinklers in Gillette. And so the thing that was crazy was you couldn't even see the game at one point. Lamar Jackson, you could tell, knew there was no way you could throw a football by the end of this game. Game ended up being 23-17 Patriots. Lamar Jackson went 24-34 and had 11 rushes for 55 yards, threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But the real thing was Damian Harris out of Alabama ran for 121 yards and 22 touchdowns. It looked like we went back to 1960 in this game.
I mean, how did the Patriots do it, though? Every week it's a different guy. James White this week, Rex Burkhead the next, Sony Michel, then we're on to Damian Harris. How does this continue to happen? And the crazy thing is with New England, now that Damian Harris had a good game, he's not going to see much playing time next week. We're going to go back to Rex Burkhead or somebody.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. But no, if New England's going to make noise this season, which they certainly still can, their season's far from over, they have to play games like that. Grind it out, dirty football. Like
old-fashioned.
Exactly. That is Patriot football.
Yeah, that's how you win in December. Though, you know what was interesting? Drew Brees broke his ribs after getting a not disgusting hit, but a body slam into the ground, and that must have been painful. The question now is, who will take over? Jameis Winston, a former first overall pick, or Taysom Hill, the man out of BYU, the Mormon himself, a crazy athlete who came into the league when he was only 27 years old, which is kind of old.
Pretty good year for BYU. I mean, they're undefeated in college football right now. They got Taysom Hill having a legit chance at starting for the New Orleans Saints. But no, for me, I feel that I think Jameis Winston should be the starting quarterback. I feel he brings you more to the table. He may not be the athlete that Taysom Hill is, but you need a pocket passer to win in the NFL.
100%.
And Jameis Winston, he might not be good at it, but he's going to bring you a much better shot at that than Taysom Hill.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think Taysom Hill has completed more than 1 or 2 passes in his career.
Definitely not, no. He is a great option quarterback. Like, that's what he's there for, and that's what he continues to do. But, no, the Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings to wrap out the week.
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, it was a football game, but that was about as far as you could go with calling it something.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, it took a real long time to get going, and Khalil Mack had a great game, but Nick Foles at the end of the game when he's trying to win it for them got hurt. Says it's a hip pointer, and Tyler Bray came out, and I did not know Tyler Bray was still in the league.
That was my expression exactly. I don't know what. Granted, it's a tough situation to come in 30 seconds left. You got to go 70 yards with no timeouts. But some of those throws were unbelievably terrible. Like,
oh yeah.
If Nick Foles is out an extended period of time and Mitch Trubisky can't make the start, I can't imagine that they're going to go with Tyler Bray. But I've seen crazier things happen. But
Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, potentially. Colin Kaepernick's out there. There's a handful of options. Maybe trade for Dwayne Haskins. That could work for the future. But
And yeah, in the offseason. But supposedly there was a report that Nick Foles is expected to stay as a backup or bridge quarterback in the offseason. But, you know.
Makes sense, yep. The Vikings season isn't over yet either. The Vikings are still.
They are still in the hunt.
They're still doing it. But that's all the time we have today. We're going to swing it over to the news with Annika and Tom, and we'll see you next time.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near.
Welcome back to the final Good Evening KU of the semester. My name is Annika.
And I'm Tom. We are excited to share that a new COVID-19 vaccine is on the verge of being released to the public. pharmaceutical companies Pfizer and Moderna are two frontrunners in putting a vaccine on the market.
According to CBS News, Pfizer's vaccine was 90% effective in clinical trials, while Moderna's vaccine was 94.5% effective. Medical experts are very optimistic about the success of that vaccine, as it is very encouraging that two separate companies saw similar results when testing their respective vaccines.
There is still a multitude of logistical problems to work out, though, as both vaccines have to be stored at freezing temperatures to remain effective. Hopefully these companies can reach a solution to quickly help get the spread of COVID-19 under control.
With the recent increase of COVID cases, experts are strongly recommending that anyone planning on sharing Thanksgiving meals with loved ones should isolate themselves as much as possible before meeting up for meals.
Emergency medical physician Dr. Lena Wayne is encouraging Americans to be extra observant with COVID-19 tests in the coming weeks because the virus has an incubation period of 14 days. It's important to take any negative results with a grain of salt and continue to mask up, wash those hands, and social distance.
With Thanksgiving right around the corner, being conscious of COVID-19 guidelines in the next week will help keep families safe during their holiday festivities. But as we've discovered throughout this pandemic, technology could be used to bring these families closer together this holiday season.
That's right. Zoom has just recently announced that in the spirit of the holidays, they will be lifting their time limit of free meetings for Thanksgiving Day, so family gatherings don't get cut short.
Usually, meetings have a strict time limit of 40 minutes before users have to pay. But this year, meetings will be able to go on much longer. So if you or any of your loved ones are at high risk for COVID-19, you can still have your Thanksgiving together virtually, all thanks to Zoom.
Over the weekend, the NCAA announced that the 2021 Division I men's basketball tournament, better known as March Madness, will be held in entirely one location in Indianapolis this spring.
The University Daily Kansan says the NCAA committee members thought it would be easier to host every game at one facility rather than at 13 different arenas like originally planned.
The NBA bubble created a similar environment and was actually very successful, so hopefully this does not negatively affect teams during the tournament.
I think we're all just glad to see that the NCAA is even having the tournament in general, after it was canceled earlier this year due to the outbreak of the pandemic.
In other sports news, your number 15 Kansas women's soccer team defeated Oklahoma by a score of 4-1 Sunday to close out their season. The game was previously scheduled for mid-September, but was postponed due to COVID-19. The Jayhawks have high hopes and are looking at a successful postseason run after finishing 4th in the Big 12. Let's all wish them luck.
KU Athletics released a statement in the past hour stating that they will no longer host fans at any home athletics competitions for the remainder of November due to the current COVID-19 numbers, according to the Kansas Athletics Twitter.
The Pandemic Medical Advisory Team has yet to make a decision regarding KU basketball. As the season is supposed to start next week, Kansas Athletics say they will provide an update as soon as a decision has been made.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for you today. We'll hear from Adrian with your weekly weather update when we come back from the break, but thank you so much for joining us this semester.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Hello and welcome back to Good Evening KU. I'm Adrian Campa here with your weekly weather forecast. And right now we're seeing beautiful conditions outside. The temperature is 60 degrees, lots of sunshine and some light winds from the south-southeast at 15 miles per hour. And on satellite and radar, there's really nothing going on. We've had a pretty big ridge in place across the central part of the United States. That's really allowed for us to have beautiful conditions. And you can see there's nothing going on across northeast Kansas. And for this evening, we're going to continue to see nice conditions, clear skies out there. Temperatures are going to fall from the low 50s into the mid-40s by 9 p.m., a temperature of 46, but our winds are going to remain breezy out there from the south at 10 miles per hour. And our forecast for tonight, a low of 45 degrees, clear skies and breezy, but our winds are going to pick up overnight as we get into past midnight. Our winds are really going to start picking up from the south-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. But tomorrow, this is where we're talking about some pretty windy conditions out there. We do have a wind advisory in effect for tomorrow. But these winds are going to be coming from the south, so it's really going to allow for us to warm up to a high of 70 degrees. Lots of sunshine out there, but those winds are going to be strong from the south-southwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour and gusting in upwards of 45, maybe even up to 55 miles per hour. And we can see that here on our wind gust forecast. These darker pinks and darker purples, those are some pretty strong winds. So Wednesday throughout the day, we can see gusts up to 55 miles per hour. And then once again on Thursday, as a little weak frontal boundary, which you can see start right here, start to push in, we could be talking about up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts on Thursday. So you'll definitely want to be mindful of that. But then we are talking about some rain finally moving back into the area. We are going to see an active pattern, and we could be talking about a couple of inches of rain out there for Saturday into Sunday. So if you do have any outdoor plans this weekend, it's going to be much cooler, but you do have to be mindful of the rain that we're expecting. So you can see that northeast Kansas, it starts off light, but then as we get into Saturday into Sunday morning, the rain really comes down heavy, and we see up to 2 inches of rain across northeast Kansas. So if you are heading out to the game on Saturday, be mindful because it's likely going to be a soggy game. But warming up to a high of 75 on Thursday, well above average for this time of year, and it is thanks to that ridge that we do have in place. But that's going to start breaking down, especially as we head into Friday, because this is when our storm system is going to start approaching. So a high of only 65 degrees on Friday with a 70% chance of rain. And then as we get into Saturday, 80% chance of rain. So if you are heading out to the game, take a jacket and umbrella with you. It's going to be cooler. The temperature is quickly going to start dropping throughout the day on Saturday. A low of 39, so getting to lows back into the 30s to start off your Sunday. A high of only 49 degrees, more seasonable-like, but continuing to see rain showers throughout the day. And then we quickly dry out for our Monday, getting back into the low 50s, and then a high of 57 by Tuesday. So getting more like late fall for our Tuesday. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching our final show of the semester for Good Evening KU on Tuesday. This is our last show of 2020. We hope to see you back next year for 2021.